Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. This is Rick, your host. Here we are streaming live on YouTube here on Saturday, June 22nd, just before 4 p.m. Had to run to get some water. Thanks you guys for holding on that are waiting in the chat room. Looks like we've got quite a few people already on. I tell you what, we have a packed show today. We're talking about Chuck and Nancy and the whole Iran deal, and they're actually clapping and celebrating, happy for World War III and trying to get Trump to fall for the Cabal's trick. But Trump dupes the Cabal by calling a raid and then canceling it and then being able to figure out what's going on with everything. So this is an exciting time to dig it through that. A lot of other moves, etc. And here we are on the Blessed Teach Show. Again, I'm Rick, your host. On June 22nd. Let's dig into this. We got people all the way from Noble, Oklahoma. We got Montana, southern Mexico, Southern California. Hello from France. Andrea Perro, thank you for joining from France. Melbourne, Florida, South Carolina, UK, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Chicago. All right, let's get rolling. There's a ton to cover today. Again, Q has not posted, but boy, Trump is trolling. Look at what he posted here. It's a little 30-second deal. And I'm going to pull it back here. So look at what he does. It's got Trump 2028, Trump 2032, Trump 2036, Trump 2040, Trump 2044, Trump 48, 52, 56, 60. 64, 2068, 2078, and it starts going faster and faster and faster, and then it says all the way to 2176, 2600, 30,000, 7,000, 8,000, 30,000. Trump forever, EVA. Trump forever, EVA. You gotta love that. I just tell you, he is just a master troller for sure. Just realized I need to make sure I turn on my multi-point viewer for the sound, so that when everybody will be able to hear what I am playing. So you guys probably couldn't hear the sound there. You probably saw it. I'm going to play it one more time because you probably couldn't hear the sound because it's kind of cute. There it goes. Starts with 2020, then 2024, then 2028. Keeps on going, giving all the dates, etc. Now that the sound's working for you guys, it just kind of accelerates. It goes to 2052, 2056, 2060, 2064, 2060. Keeps on the years just start accelerating, going up. And that is Trump trolling. That's all. And then Trump forever, for EVA, forever. So that's kind of cute. Now we see here, hey, wanted to talk to you also about this right here. The DHC, spying risk from foreign VPNs is real. So this whole privacy thing, guys, is really serious now, especially when everything goes into your IP address, right? So you only have one IP address for your entire house for all your devices going to it. So if anybody is able to track that and gets a hold of that, they can see every site you've ever visited, on all your devices, unless you have a VPN. Now, some people are going to get these cheap foreign VPNs, and the DHS is saying, no, this is risky stuff to be doing this. In fact, if you dig into this article, it'll actually show you that they officially came out and said that foreign VPNs can pose a security risk to the United States government. The reasons given were based on the facts that even through foreign VPNs can elude U.S. and U.K. law. The worry is that the foreign governments such as China and Russia could strong-arm a local VPN company to hand over its user data with no issues at all. This move would cause tons of United States citizens' personal data and browsing history, creating a huge national security risk. This is why using a VPN is good to use a company such as Virtual Shield to take advantage of its no-log policy. That's critical. There's a lot of VPNs out there and terrible, we were seeing that the Facebook VPN literally did more spying on you, and then actually these foreign risks you have here. But you need to not keep logs. That's the key, and that's what I love about my partner. This was the company that found me and got me with my marketing company. So it's been a huge blessing. And the sponsors here, I appreciate your guys' support. I'd like to keep these guys on. Their sales have been down on this channel for the last couple of months, so I'd like to increase it. So if you're thinking about it, they have extended the Father's Day special. So literally you'll see it's an awesome deal where you can have huge discounts on a lot of these extra things that they sell. They sell not only the VPN, which you can get for an average price of $3.99. Now you do have to buy the 2-year deal, but boy, is it worth it, because that $3.99 a month is normally you're talking $20 or more to get a really good VPN. And the reason I like Virtual Shield so much, it's got 3 huge advantages. Number 1, no logs, that we just talked about, right? Number 2, it's one of the easiest in the world to use. And then number 3, it is one of the fastest in the world. So if I can stream on this and it not slow us down, that just shows you the speed that it has, and then the ease of use, etc. Again, to change the IP address, it's real easy. You just basically go check, boom, and it brings you a new IP address. And you can go look at that IP chicken or something, and it'll show your IP address, and it never changes unless you change it with a VPN. Right? So again, this Father's Day special is a great place to do it. You want to go to virtualshield.com/blessed. So remember that /blessed. virtualshield.com/blessed. And I really appreciate you guys go tackling that, and you will really love it as well, because to get a VPN for this price is phenomenal. It's usually, even their discounted plans are $10.99 a month here, right? And to get it for an average of $3.99, but with a 64% discount, right? virtualshield.com/blessed. Let's get into this. Woo! Don't forget, today is summer solstice. This is and that's why the deep state cabal people were so happy that the war was starting today. Oops, ha 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 ha. So that's so they have these traditional cult things. It's an important day of the occult and pagan traditions, the summer solstice, right? And so now what do? They try to actually get people in their evil plans to happen. So the war didn't happen that they are trying to start in Iran. So Jeff Stewart, thank you so much. Winning, 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 he's saying. That's exactly right, Jeff. So look at this. This is crazy what happened. I really dug heavily into the Iran, this whole debacle, right? And getting it from a lot of different perspectives. So let's dig into this. So here is, and again, this is vote.co, VOAT.co, right? And Iran was a CIA false flag to ignite a war in the Middle East. Expect more incidents. Trump played this right. Uncovered traitors. The whole Iran drama was staged by the CIA to provide a predicate for military action. Iran did not provoke this tanker attack nor the drone attack. And that's what they had literally claimed, right? Expect more incidents to talk about. There's 2 articles here I have fired up for you already. Here's one of them. Mischievous plot. Iran accused the U.S. of lying about the suspicious attack on America-linked oil tanker and denies ordering torpedo assault. And so there's a video you can play here as well. But Iran has accused the U.S. of lying about the torpedo attack on an American-linked oil tanker as tensions reach breaking point. And of course, when the fake news media wants you to go to war, and then you've got Nancy Pelosi, and you'll see in a second, they get caught celebrating. Chuck's going like this, celebrating that they just got Trump to attack, and Nancy's clapping. And so they lie about what that was, but they were caught on film doing this. Here's another article. You'll soon find out if U.S. retaliates after Iran shoots down drone, Trump warns. Right? He said Iran made a big mistake, and he was talking big. And he was just fooling the deep state. He was playing the deep state. He duped the big state. You got to love it to see what happened here. Here's the celebration. It's a little 6-second clip. But you'll see, here's Chuck Schumer, and here's Nancy. And you can see they're eye to eye. They're talking. And look what Chuck does. Yeah, he sits there and does the celebration of, woo, 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 we got him to attack. We got him to attack. There it goes again. It's going to play again. See? Clearly, Nancy clapping, Chuck Schumer going, woo, woo, woo. Yeah, dude, we got him. We got him to attack. And then he's smiling and going like this. You can see Chuck Schumer is completely sold out to the deep state. We know that. And now we're seeing the exact plan was to get Trump to attack and then call him a warmonger and try to hurt him for 2020 and do all kinds of things and really try to escape from all this D-class stuff with a big world war is what they want. And here's the same 6-second video, but I slowed it down to 0.25. See, look at this. It's in slow motion. You can see clearly exuberant, and we'll look at when he turns away right now. He's gonna kind of give a fist pump and smile. All right. So Nancy's turned away now. He's talking to somebody else. See, there's a fist pump, double fist pump, and a big smile. Whoa, we got Trump suckered into a war. And that's what he's thinking. I believe that's exactly what that was. Now this is why Chuck Schumer was raising the roof after the White House meeting on Iran. So now here's the mainstream media trying to come in and help him out. Moments after exiting the meeting at the White House to discuss an attack on the U.S. drone from Iran, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was seen raising the roof, right? While the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was clapping along, Trump called off a retaliatory strike later that day. Schumer team reacted quickly to the video and said his excitement had nothing to do with the meeting. Right, they're walking right out of the meeting, I'm sure. So Schumer's spokesman said that in a statement that Pelosi, Democratic fellow, had asked the senator how his mother was doing, right, who had been rushed to the emergency room on Wednesday. Schumer found out his mom was doing okay and released from the hospital on Thursday. So he's sitting there raising the house that his mom's okay. Wrong. We know what it was about, Chuck. It's about you trying to do the deep state's bidding for you is what we're having. And like this guy says, the Democrats need to purge these warmongers from the top ranks. They're turning the party into a death cult, cheering suicidal wars. See, so even though he lied through a spokesman, people have caught on to that. Now here is another article talked about betrayed attack target list sent to Iran before U.S. strike aborted. So this is interesting. So all these leaks started happening, right? So they were going to not only bait Trump into retaliating, the whole attack was going to be thwarted and looked like a big quagmire, right? So U.S. troops probably being killed, the targets killing a lot of civilians probably, and making Trump look horrible, like he made a bad decision. And then they'd say, warmonger, you're a warmonger, Trump. The United States planned a military strike against Iran over its downing of the U.S. drone yesterday, but the attack had to be called off because an American target list was forwarded to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as the U.S. operation got underway. Now, I don't agree with this version. Everything I've looked at and studied, I think Trump played them, purposely said go strike and then pulled back and had his operations be able to figure out where these CIA operators were in Iran. Okay? And understanding where the leaking was coming from the U.S. and where, seeing so Iran working with Iran in a backdoor way, I believe, to find out, just like in North Korea, where these deep state operatives are that are trying to pull Iran and the U.S. into a war. They're just like they did with North Korea, right? U.S. intelligence determined that a security breach had taken place and our pilots would be flying into a death trap had the operation been allowed to proceed. So I think this is I think Trump was planning on doing this to find the CIA operatives, but I also think the deep state was planning to foil the attack and make it look like a miserable failure. A U.S. fighter and a bomber aircraft were to take off for targets involving Iran. U.S. intelligence intercepted a communication. They won't say whether it was a phone call, fax, email, or radio transmission with a version of the finalized target list that American forces were ordered to destroy. The version Iran received was not the finalized list, but instead was one of the list mulled over prior to the final decision. Some of the targets on the list sent to Iran were on the final target selection list. Upon receipt of the target list, U.S. satellite assets watching Iran detected hasty moving of anti-aircraft and surface-to-air missile assets toward the targets to defend them. It quickly became clear to U.S. intelligence that America's pilots would be flying into their deaths if the attack was allowed to proceed. President Trump was advised of this development, and he allegedly ordered the mission aborted. Very few people had direct access to those target selection lists, and the release of a quasi-accurate list was sparked a furious military and law enforcement investigation into the leak. So they're trying to find the leak on this side. We know who had access to the particular list of targets that was sent to Iran, and the investigation will move very swiftly to deal with those people, said one senior official. As we proceed from this point, the leakers will be totally isolated from future target deliberations, he continued. The remarks by this senior official seem to indicate the leak may not have come from inside the USA, but rather from an ally nation who had been made privy to the U.S. thinking prior to the attack order being given. Regardless, we got black cats everywhere, guys, and they're being exposed. And this is a incredibly well thought out, I believe, plan, the whole Q plan, right? The whole military operations, intelligence operation, to not only overtake them, but root them out with obvious crimes where there will be the airtight cases that they will not be able to escape. So that is the beautiful part about this. So we do not want to just go aggressively do what we did with Jeffrey Epstein, for instance, and have our American ugly legal system with the corruptness involved try to let Jeffrey Epstein get a slap on the wrist, right? That's what would happen if we had tried to do arrests 2 years ago. Now we're getting airtight cases, and it's quite exciting to see how it's going. So here's some Anons talking on 8chan about it. Let's see what they say. It says, Trump is a Machiavellian manipulator like the world has never seen. My take, Chucky is an Israeli citizen. Nancy never saw a war she couldn't profit from. POTUS likely told them what he was going to strike and when, and then tracked the leaks they made to the New York Times, Mossad, and other congressional inside traders. Woo! By Northrop, Lockheed. And then it says, then when they leaked the targeting info, POTUS teams tracked the ELINT and asset positioning of our allies and enemies. Launching the strike packages caused assets in the target area to respond, which also observed and analyzed. They fell for it hook, line, and sinker. POTUS has been playing this game for a long time. And here's another anon, goes into even more detail than that, talks about, don't forget Pelosi and Chuck's meeting with Brennan shortly after the little dance. They relayed the information POTUS gave them to Brennan, and Brennan was the one to leak the info to the New York Times. Brennan, Kerry, Di-Fi, Pelosi, Chuck, BHO, Barack Hussein Obama, etc. are doing everything they can to try to set up POTUS to die on the sword. They might have literally moved people into... Oh, darn it, I hate it when it does that. See if I can find it. There it is. There it goes. They might have literally moved people into the areas that were going to be hit so that they can say Trump killed innocent Iranian citizens. Just imagine what these people, these evil people, will do next year before the election. The closer it gets, the more desperate they become. Who was actually watching Chucky and Pelosi to record that video of them celebrating? Can you get a FISA on current members of Congress? Can you prove they are guilty of treason? Who actually busted Di-Fi talking to Iran? I believe that they are all under surveillance. And Q told us, FISA goes both ways, dudes. FISA goes both ways. That's right. Here we have somebody on Twitter talking about it, Anon66. He says, so Chuck and Nancy are seen dancing after a meeting with POTUS. Everyone is wondering why. News breaks 4 hours later, a strike on Iran had been authorized. But POTUS reverses his decision at the last minute. They were dancing because they wanted the strike, knowing it would ... damage POTUS. Trump just messed with them again. And they took the bait again. Think about this too. Several news outlets reported the strikes had already happened. So who leaked that information? Learn to play the game. Enjoy the show. Hashtag QAnon. Woo! Tell you, this is getting hot. That's right. Here's a thread that somebody's just talking about the whole Iranian situation and these Iranian Americans and what they're thinking about it, right? And here we are. This thread, the first one says, Iran Americans from across the U.S. rallied in Washington on Friday to voice support for the Iranian people's protest uprisings and Iranian resistance against the Mullah regime. Right, a little 2-minute video here. I'm not going to have time to play these. But as the regime in Iran continues its warmongering and escalating tensions across the region, the Iran-American community is calling for a regime change in Iran by the Iranian people. At least this group of Iranian Americans are. A number of the U.S. dignitaries voiced support for the Iranian-American demonstration. And the massive Iranian-American march supports regime change in Iran by the Iranian people led by Iranian opposition president. The Iranian American community supports a free, democratic, and non-nuclear Iran, gender equality, freedom of speech, press, assembly, religion, attire, separation of church and state, and peaceful coexistence with regional neighbors and beyond. Everybody wants the American constitutional values in there, right? You can see here's a bunch of people. That goes on and on as they chant. And so the last part of this says solidarity among Iranian Americans is expressing their determination to support their fellow compatriots inside Iran by being their voice in this joint struggle to establish freedom and democracy. Here's like a 28-minute video that goes over that. But anyway, you just can tell that there is a misinformation campaign, I believe, coming from the media and the deep state and all the criminals that are in their cohorts with the 4 a.m. talking points trying to get Trump into a war is what I believe is happening here. And here's Praying Medic's take on it. He says, as with North Korea, POTUS has offered to help Iran become a prosperous, modernized nation, but it's up to their leaders to accept or reject this offer of help. This statement leads me to believe POTUS has engaged in back-channel negotiations with Iran, which are continuing. So let's listen to this.
But hopefully,
back this up a little bit.
Now, if the leadership of Iran behaves badly, then it's going to be a very, very bad day for them. But hopefully they're smart, and hopefully they really care for their people and not themselves, and hopefully we can get Iran back onto an economic track that's fantastic, where they're a really wealthy nation, which would be a wonderful thing. All those things I want to do. But if they're going to be foolish, that's never going to happen. Now, if the leadership of Iran...
So there's another Praying Medic that weighs in on this as well. So as the president explained his rationale for canceling the airstrikes, he didn't want to unnecessarily kill 150 people if there was another way to accomplish the goal. And you can see there's a lot of different opinions here, right? Whether there was actually the strike targets were given before and that's why he canceled it, or he just canceled because of the 150 people he was going to kill. But I think it might be a combination of both. But in the end, Trump didn't go to war like the deep state wanted him to. Here he is talking about why he didn't attack.
I come from New York City. In New York City, we have a lot of Iranians, and they're great people. I have friends that are Iranian, many friends. Living in New York City, you meet many Iranians. They're very smart, they're very ambitious, they have they're high-quality people. But I have many friends that are Iranian. I don't want to kill 150 Iranians. I understand it. I don't want to kill 150 of anything or anybody unless it's absolutely necessary. And most people very much agree with what I'm doing. Now,
there you go. And another topic Iran, you see Joe M. weighing in on it. Iran dismantled a CIA spy network and arrested the spies. Now they're issuing capital penalties. Same happened when North Korea executed Kim Hyok-chol for his dirty scam engaging intel with the CIA in that embassy raid in Spain. These are legit death sentences with white hat supervision. So here's a whole nother wrinkle. So did this happen this quickly? So this was just breaking. Iran executes defense ministry contractor over spying for the CIA news agency. So now this is interesting, and I went and he didn't post the article, so I went and found it myself. Iran executes defense ministry contractor over spying the CIA. ISNA news agency says Jahal Haji Javar confessed to spying for the U.S. spy agency in return for money. And Iran has executed a defense ministry contractor convicted of spying for the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, according to the semi-official news agency ISNA. The execution sentence was carried out for Jalal Haji Jafar, a contractor for the Defense Ministry Aerospace Organization who spied for the CIA in the American government. So if you look at, if Joe's right here, this could be the rogue part of the CIA that was literally, trying to overthrow the president here at all cost. And that rogue part of the CIA, which we know controls Mockingbird Media, controls both sides of wars, working in cahoots with the 13 bloodlines, and they're basically a criminal organization, the rogue parts of it. And so, this is what happened in North Korea, right? So this could be the very thing Trump needed to use to actually root out the deep state out of Iran, and to we can actually have some peace. That would be awesome. So there is 4D chess, or whatever you want to call it. I believe what's happening there. Quite exciting. You can read the rest of that article. Again, you'll get my show notes. Go to blessedtoteach.com. Really important probably to go there and get my email list anyway, because if you don't, I could get knocked off this channel any second with videos being taken down, etc., as you know it. So it's blessedtoteach.com with the number 2 in the middle. Blessed number 2 teach.com. Just sign it. Go to contact us. You can send me an email as well as sign up for the email list right there. Here is Joe M. talking about it again. Deep State's favorite reporter, Maggie Haberman, signaling to her friends that they were played, pointing out that the bait and switch was deliberate. This is why I think the other report was wrong, and that I think it's true that Trump played them. Here is Maggie Haberman, who is completely deep state. She was called out by having 3 trust funds coming from the EU, I believe. And she has 3 kids, right? And so Maggie Haberman is complete deep state actress. And here she says, a source told me 30 minutes ago that Trump was pleased with his own performance last night, loved being in command by ordering the strikes and by then ordering the stand down. And the president just tweeted it. So there you go. Thank you, Beverly Adams. Thank you. That's exactly right. This is just an amazing time to be alive. And so if you could, and so see if I can find this, what Trump said here. He says, on Monday, they shot down an unmanned drone flying in international waters. We were cocked and loaded to retaliate last night on 3 different sites. When I asked how many will die, 150 people, sir. Was the answer from the general. 10 minutes before the strike, I stopped it. And then if you can see I stopped it. Not proportionate to shooting down an unmanned drone. I am in no hurry. Our military is rebuilt, new, and ready to go. By far the best in the world. Sanctions are biting and more added last night. Iran can never have nuclear weapons, not against the USA, and not against the world. There's President Donald Trump for you, fighting for this country, and it's just a beautiful thing to have. I tell you what. Hey, I also wanted to talk to you about my second sponsor for this show, and that is Rate Family. And, death in the family can be hard, but unfortunately, we all have to deal with it sooner or later. All of us leave behind final expenses such as funeral costs, medical bills, and other debts. In fact, the average funeral alone is between $8,000 and $9,000. Having no insurance when you die can leave your loved ones with a huge bill to deal with and no one wants that. Take control of your family's destiny today and have the satisfaction they will be financially taken care of. Visit ratefamily.com. Again, it's ratefamily.com and get a free quote. You can select the best plan to fit your needs and budget. Life insurance is very easy to budget for. You can even choose how often to make payments. Some members pay as low as $36 per month due to income level. Visit ratefamily.com or call 1-855, so it's 1-855-919-RATE. 855-919-RATE. Or you can see the link down below it too. Again, don't let your family pay for your final expenses. Go to ratefamily.com. All right, look at this. This person says, General Flynn is a total bad ASS. And it's talking about his Twitter. Love how he uses his Twitter account only to show the current state of war. How many good people are there like him? Maybe one day we'll find out. So you notice he changes his background all the time to kind of talk about what's going on. And obviously uses his Twitter account quite effectively. And now he's recommended the book Field of Flight by General Michael Flynn, which this is his pinned tweet from 2 years ago. But here is his newer tweets as well. So go following General Flynn's a good idea. And often he doesn't post and he just changes his background to give you the theme of what's going on. Here's got Ryan Frontier saying, Trump orders bombing. You're a warmonger. Trump doesn't order bombing. Coward. The left doesn't even know what they believe in. This is exactly right. This is just highlighting the, what Dan Bongino would say, level 6 Trump derangement syndrome. The worst you can get, level 6 Trump derangement syndrome. Here we have more detail on Flynn here. My Democrat for life dad is starting to question his beliefs. Anyone else seen movement with those they interact with? I think we're turning the corner. That's an anon on vote.co talking about that. So I think that just the fact this happened, this other person says, I noticed many very vocal liberals, not necessarily hard leftists, have been very quiet lately. No talk of politics when that dominated their discussions. That's a good sign. So again, I think that many Democrats, like in the walkaway movement and just people that start seeing the truth, are eventually going to come our way. So we need to be loving them. We can't just be talking bad about all Democrats. We got remember, when you see the corruption list, it's a lot more than just Democrats. There's a lot of Republicans on that list that sold us out, guys. That sold us out with a deep state. And so, again, we will see, as the Great Awakening happens, millions of people on the left come and join this movement. So let's love them into it and educate them into it. Here's another anon saying, screen capture of a woman, E. Jean Carroll, accusing Trump of raping her. She writes, you have not lived until you've sat by your mother watching anal rape scenes in A Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That's what she said right here in this screen capture. So this girl's a little sick. She's a very sick woman. So that was doesn't give the date here, unfortunately, because the screen capture cut it off. Here's one on July 3rd. It says, sex tips from my dog. Sticking a piece of dead squirrel in your mouth before oral sex can really improve the taste. So sorry for the R-rated stuff on that, but it says ugly stuff. You're my favorite channels, learning lots, says Brandon's Rule. Thank you, Brandon's Rule. I appreciate it so much. This is just such exciting times, guys. Here's this girl that is actually accusing Trump of raping her. And so just a really wild person that lives in this small area in New York by herself and doesn't get up till noon, has that red fake hair. So it'd be real interesting to see as they just try to get Trump for anything, right? Here's Joe M's take on it. He says, Trump managed to get through his entire presidential campaign, the Mueller investigation, Nearly 3 years of presidency with nothing credible to bring him down. These Kavanaugh-style wrap-up smears, as Nancy Pelosi would say, have no chance. Give it up, losers. Excuse me, but here you go. Here you see all these pussy hat wearers, and it says, Trump raped us all too. Honest. Impeach. Excuse the language there on some of those things, but I'm just trying to tell you what's here bluntly, and I'll try to keep that as clean as I can. I change the F words and other stuff most of the time to try to keep this a clean show, but every once in a while it's kind of hard because those are what those hats are called. I'm not sure what else to call them. Over 600 U.S. companies defy Dems, sign letter supporting Trump tariffs on China. Over 600 U.S. companies defy Dems, sign letter supporting Trump tariffs on China. So finally, it's kind of a switch, right? It's kind of a switch from a lot of these companies saying how much they hate Trump and all that type of stuff. And boy, that's been a mistake for companies that have just taken these leftist principles, like Target got killed, and I'll never buy Kellogg's again. I'll never buy anything from Nike again because of their stances. And so it's fun to see if at least people come and supporting the Patriot movement. Some companies. Trump cuts Obama's Syrian refugee surge by more than 60%. So this is just more winning, as we see, these countries that can't vet their people very well and have a high percentage of extreme radical Muslims. Obviously you have to protect yourself as a country, and Obama encouraged that. The Muslim Brotherhood dominated government was what we were leading to. Here's Kim Fox. Faces utter ruin. Judge orders investigation of any person or office involved in the Smollett case. So this is wild. So this judge, as a result of his findings, Tooman shocked everyone involved in the case on Friday by appointing a special prosecutor to find out why Smollett's charges were suddenly and mysteriously dropped without explanation. Basically says he can go talk to anybody, and so that is good news for just justice. We just can't have just allow the two-tiered justice systems that we talk about, especially when it comes to crimes like this that are trying to create hate of people that have good values. The libertarians and the conservatives are being attacked right and left for trying to do what God would want to do in this country, and what God is doing in this country is the exciting part. We're seeing it happen. Here's George Papadopoulos saying a major U.S. newspaper is now doing a deep dive into Joseph Misfud, and in the middle of declassification to highlight his Russia context that apparently not even Bob Mueller could find. So they're trying to lie. So the newspaper's trying to spin the narrative that Misfud was actually a Russian asset when he wasn't ever. He was a Western asset. And that's why this was a complete entrapment exercise with Papadopoulos to try to plant the information about having Hillary's emails and all this type of stuff. And Misfud's supposed to have been a Russian asset. Then he disappears in Italy. Now Italy's calling him out. That's what's funny. Instead of looking at that, highly recommend the Italian government goes on the record about him. Right? That's I think is going to happen here soon. That's part of the whole D-class. Here's another piece of news. It's interesting. It says 6 Democrats accepted a trip paid by Qatar's government. 2, including one of the Intelligence Committee, did not disclose the trips to the Ethics Committee. So that's the trouble. Democrats hid gifts from a notorious foreign meddler. So I tell you, corruption is just being highlighted. It's like Mark Taylor was talking about. It's time's up for those who are corrupt. So exactly what's happening right now. Candace Owens. Victimhood is self-defeating mindset. The Democrats have administered lethal doses of it over the last 6 decades to the black community while pointing the finger at Republicans. That's exactly right. She says, at long last, black America is sobering and seeing the truth. In 2020, we will make history. I believe Candace Owens is right about that. Hey, thanks to EOT Dave. Times are changing. Dark to light. Evil to good. It's a movement. Exactly right, EOT Dave. It is exciting if you just see what's happening overall. This is apparently mainstream now. This is sickening to me, guys. hosted by TED Talks. The topic was, this girl topic was pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation. It was only a matter of time before the true colors were revealed. This is just absolutely sickening.
I want to quickly summarize where we are at the moment. According to current research, pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example, heterosexuality.
So it's normal to be a pedophile, just like a heterosexual. This is the sickness that's hitting our country. And this is why I'm starting this cultural impact system, guys, is we cannot put up with this anymore. If you're frustrated with this culture like I am, join me. In fact, later tonight, I'll probably put out a video. It'll have a live stream on Facebook Live and Periscope as well as here. And just explain what the cultural impact system is and why we need to do this. We have to be mobilized and go take ground back and hold that ground. We cannot allow, you can see what's happened. We completely, even in TED Talks, are being taken over. We cannot let that happen. So I'm asking you to join me, even if you only have a few hours a week and you only have, and don't even want to be on the front lines. There's plenty of people we need in the back, some 40 people on the front lines. We need to do things like Brian Kolfage did, where he went and got $21 million to build the wall, and he actually built something that the Army Corps of Engineers couldn't. That's what we need to do to go take this country back. It's going to be an exciting time to do it. Tom Fitton's fighting with us. He says, is this sedition? Here we have the Montgomery County Police respond to outrun Donald Trump's plans for ICE raids this week to deport millions who are here illegally. And says, basically the news says it will not be helping the ICE government. That's sedition is what that is. It's going to be really interesting. Now, Trump did delay this. He put out a tweet just today. It says, at the request of the Democrats, I have delayed the illegal immigration removal process, deportation, for 2 weeks to see if the Democrats and Republicans can get together and work out a solution to the asylum and loophole problems at the southern border. If not, deportations start. And so that is real interesting. I can't see the Democrats doing anything. But I think Trump in his mastery is basically going to highlight that again. Hey, I gave you a chance. You showed you don't want to fix this. You clearly don't. And man, I just hope our friends on the left wake up to what's really happening. Thank you, Jessica. Here's a little 32-second deal I want you to listen to.
For Cuban Americans in Miami, Mr. Trump, we're voting for you. And I think that we're going to be bringing a lot of other Hispanics to vote with you. I think Trump has been the most pro-Latino president. Yes, he has been tough on immigration, but the only way for the immigrants to thrive that are here legally is for us to control immigration, for us to know how many people are here, for us to know that we live in a safe country. People come to this country because we have rule of law.
There you go. That's right. So now you have Black America waking up to the fraud that's going on with the deep state. You have Hispanics waking up to the fraud that's going on with the deep state. And it's becoming very obvious who they are. They're just like sticking out like sore thumbs, right? Because Nancy Pelosi's saying these stupid things. Chuck Schumer's doing these stupid things. They're celebrating World War III and caught on camera. What a beautiful time to show that they are frauds and are treasonous people that hate this country and are doing it for their political power and gain. Sad day, but boy, is it awesome that it's coming out. Here's Donald Trump Jr. saying, hey, AOC, guess who knows more about concentration camps than you? These Holocaust survivors, they have a message for you. Why don't you listen for once? Great video right here. Retweet so media can't ignore. So this is the 2 minute and 52 seconds, but you can find it on the show notes. Beautifully done. Response to the idiotic comment by AOC that the border holding areas for illegal aliens that want to be there and come there and can leave anytime they want. She actually used the term never again. So when she said concentration camps, she was talking about the concentration camps and the death camps. So she's trying to backtrack and lie about it. And what's shocking, again, just amazing to me, is that all these Democrats are defending that. including Omar, right? It's like so again, the enemies of the people. This is not right versus left, guys. This is we the people and the cabal, and the enemies of the people are showing themselves very clearly, with AOC being one of those enemies of the people. Here we have Dustin Nemos, our book, the Q book, right? I think I have it. No, I put it downstairs, but our book beat Acostas by far, right? But here's Mark Dice having to say, the New York Times bestseller list, if you guys go look at the New York Times bestseller list, it's completely fake. There's no way in hell that Jim Acosta's book is number 10 or on it at all, when the book barely cracked Amazon's top 100 and is currently ranked number 288. Okay, so that whole book being in on the New York Times list on Jim Acosta is a complete cabal decision. A cabal decision to unhighlight books they don't like, even though they were sold much more, and then putting on their books that they want to lie to you and put propaganda out. That's what Jim Acosta's book's all about. Lies and propaganda. We're using the 4 a.m. talking points. Whew, crazy stuff out there now. Now here we have on NBC, I think it was CNBC, I believe it was. You'll see presence at the Trump rally in Orlando. Look what this guy said.
Classic Florida. There's a little bit of a smattering of QAnon. There were people wearing their formal flip-flops and their
Talking about the Trump rally.
Exactly 4 years ago this
week. Did you
week.
hear that? So that was pretty cool. So you're basically hearing him talking about there's a little bit of QAnon there. So the mainstream media understands who Q is now. Now they're trying to malign it, obviously, but it's not working for them. The Epoch Times says a Mexican official said Mexico would meet with 19 other countries in the coming weeks to try and gather support for a plan to stem the flow of entering the U.S. So when they're sitting back just letting Soros and all his money and all the cabal money fund all these people coming up through Mexico, and now Mexico's fighting it because they don't want those tariffs. So that was just another Trump brilliant move. I have several other things to go over to, so don't leave. Have the prophecy as well as an amplification of the UK trip by Gene, who's Cosensi on here. Some brilliant insights that goes beyond what SB2 says, and then potentially arrest warrants have been out there for a couple of years, and who those people are that they haven't executed on yet, obviously, but those indictments are out there and well documented now. According to another channel. But anyway, if you want my show notes and want to keep track of me after I get kicked off this channel, all you have to do is go to contact us on blessedtoteach.com with a number 2. So teach.com. You can see right here, you can send me a message, click this here, and you'll be subscribed to the email list and get these show notes. And these show notes, guys, I put a lot of work into them. I think I've shown you that, is that they render really nicely as well. So like here's the one from Trump prayer rally that I did last time. And so if you want to go listen to that whole prayer, here's the whole video again, and the sponsors, including the coupon codes. And then you can see here's this video that I played of the prayer. And you can see it renders extremely nicely, right? Here where some of the things you have to click on to go to, like this Nixium article, but a lot of them you can just read without even having to open up another browser. So it's a beautiful way. And I also at the bottom put the Bible studies and the prophecies and the Bible memory verse. So sign up for the show notes. And again, the easiest way to do it is to go to the contact us. You can also do it from the homepage. But if you want to send me a message as well, you want to go to the contact us form. Okay, let's get rolling here on these other 3 items I wanted to cover real quick. So let's see here. I need to refresh my browser. There it is. So Cosensi on, I'm not sure if he's on. I haven't seen him yet. I don't know. But he, Gene, I've met him live in Denver. He got 26 years of military, and I read this to you before about much more on the Trump in UK. Note at the dinner speech that the Queen said Trump was of Scotland, meaning he is part of the empire, and his reply that we are a sovereign country. So that's right on board with what SB2 told us, right? But then he goes further. Also note that she is to the left, her chair, as the Queen is behind her, but the chair of the king is behind Trump. So he's saying that's symbolism for Trump as being basically becoming king of England. Is where he's basically taken these 3 cities they're talking about, that are the corporations, that are the military in the U.S. from the D.C., the United States of America. The corporation is one city. And then you got the Vatican was the religious capital, right? And then you have U.K. being the financial capital. And that Trump's becoming king of it all is what he's talking about. Also note Melania on the red carpet with a red dress, meaning the red carpet is out for her, the queen. Also note that the military behind are U.S. Marines, not British military, meaning that our military is in charge. Also, when Trump inspects the troops in front of the palace, he does so alone, meaning he is in charge of that military as well. Finally, he was signing documents in the Westminster Abbey, taking charge of the Vatican. This all means that now we, the U.S., are in charge of the Empire of Rome. There's 3 city-state of the world rule. To clarify, this is the new stuff, to clarify Trump's inspection of the U.S., of the troops in UK. Remember, I did 21 years in the military. When your commanding officer is replaced, the change of command as it's called in the military, the oncoming commander follows. He does not lead. To do so indicates the officer in the lead has command. So guys, this is shocking. If you go look at Trump inspecting the church, I need to show that to you guys real quick. So if you just go to YouTube, I'm going to show you this on the fly, okay? You can do this with me if you want to. Go to your YouTube, and you just go to the search engine, and you say Trump inspecting troops UK. Okay, and hit enter. I think this will come right out. Now, here it is. Then here's a 6-minute deal. I don't have time to show it to you all. Here's a little 2-minute one. Maybe that will be a good enough one to show. But you'll see. Darn it! This was a different one. This was 2018. So in 2018, he went with the Queen. That's a good to show. So when he was inspecting, he was with the Queen. So what happened this time though? This time, see if I got 2019, and I'll kind of skip ahead here. I was watching this earlier. He comes, look at this. The Queen stayed behind. Look at this. The Prince of Wales behind him. Or I don't know. I'm not sure exactly who that is. I think that was Prince of Wales. But he's inspecting the troops himself. It's like the change in command. That's crazy if Gene's right here. Just crazy to me. And so to do so indicates the officer in the lead has command. Additionally, I missed an even more important item. Our military anthems were playing while Trump was inspecting, not the British anthems. This is extremely important as it means that those being inspected are our military. All our military anthems played over and over. Navy, Air Force, Army, and Marines. But not once did any of their military anthems play. This is just not done. This is incredibly significant. This is very blatantly stating that he is inspecting our military. Now look, I had the link to the YouTube right here. So anyway, I'll make sure I put that in the show notes for you guys as well. This is crazy stuff. I was going, man, that is just crazy. Now I should source this better. I can't remember where I got this. I just took notes from YouTube that somebody sent me. But basically saying the generals had a list of birth dates and the people that literally had indictments for treason in military tribunals. And it was 20 people. And I just thought it was really interesting if this is any truth to this. But it's been open for a couple of years, and so they haven't obviously issued these or unsealed these indictments. But therefore, Barry Soranto, which is really Barack Obama's true name, John Kerry, as you know, the Secretary of State. He's also Skull and Bones. Joe Biden, Charles Hagel, a Republican. Again, guys, we were sold out by a lot of Republicans. John Boehner, a Republican. He was the Speaker of the House. And he went and bought some marijuana companies, I think. Dianne Goldman Feinstein. No surprise there. Lindsey Graham. But they said he was pardoned. So this guy had information from these generals that Lindsey Graham was pardoned. but he was part, because we know he was right along with John McCain. They had something on him, right? He completely changed after John McCain was most likely put to death. And here you have, again, another Republican. So we had all these Republicans selling us out. Robert Mendez is from New Jersey. Robert Coker, another Republican from Tennessee. We have Barbara Boxer, a Democrat from California. Benjamin Corden, I couldn't find that person. Jean Shaheen, a Democrat from New Hampshire. Tim Kaine, no surprise there. Hillary's running mate, Virginia Senator. Jeffrey Flake, we know he was forced to retire, right? Republican again, another Republican that had sold us out from Arizona. Chris Coons, a Democrat from Delaware. Dick Durbin, Democrat from Illinois. He was part of the Gang of Eight. Susan Rice, she was a national security advisor, right? And Samantha Powers, the ambassador to the UN, and Ben Rhodes, the deputy national secretary advisor for strategic communications. He was in the White House with Barack Obama, and as an advisor to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action with Iran. So we know John Kerry's messing with Iran. We know this whole Uranium One and the whole Ben Rhodes things. It's all going to come out, and supposedly they've known about this for 2 years with very detailed indictments, but now they probably are just getting them more and more airtight as part of the D-class, and they're probably waiting until they can't walk down the street before they arrest them. So they had rumors that something big was going to happen this weekend, that there could be a social media blackout here over the next week, coming up in 2 or 3 days, and have a week plus of social media blackout and maybe more blackouts. That's why I could go to that preparewithrick.com to get your food, guys. Seriously, who knows what's going to happen here? But so I'll try to get that source to you and put it in the show notes. Can't remember exactly where I found that. So let's get to the last thing I want to do, and that is a declaration of unity that Mark Taylor's asking us to do, and that says, so say this with me if you'd like. This is a declaration of unity that he thinks we need to do. Put your name in there. In the name of Jesus, decree and declare, according to Matthew 18:19, that I will be in unity with my brothers and sisters in the army of God and all the forces of heaven, that I will support and defend the word of God and his army, with all the heaven against all enemies, with the kingdom of darkness, even into supreme sacrifice. I will not fire upon those in the army of God, but will direct my fire upon the enemy, and the enemy alone. Please, Neon Revolt. Please, others. Let's start doing this. I will protect my brothers and sisters in God's army from any assault that the army may launch. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same on and off the battlefield. I will obey the orders from the supreme commander of the army of God, which is probably the Lord Jesus, right? And the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to Ephesians 4:11, the government of God and the uniform regulations founded in God's throne and righteousness and justice. I decree it, I declare it, on earth as it is in heaven. So it be, amen. So that was written way back in June of 2015 by Mark Taylor, just trying to talk about, and I believe this is important, that we point our guns at we the people versus the cabal. And as we have differences of agreement, we got to quit pointing our guns at each other. Obviously, we need to unite and fight. All right, that's what I'm going to talk about with the cultural impact system a little bit later, in a separate broadcast on a live stream to Facebook, Periscope, as well as YouTube. All right. Here's the memory verse, 1 Corinthians 1:22 and 23 says, Jews demand signs and Greeks look for wisdom. But we preach Christ crucified, a stumbling block to the Jews and foolishness to Gentiles. So don't fall into this trap of being somebody that wants a sign and be able to see God physically, right? Because don't look for wisdom outside of the God's knowledge, which is the fear of the Lord, right? That's how you get to true knowledge, and this fake worldly wisdom won't help you. But when everybody's arguing over signs and wanting to see more evidence for God, and arguing over this wisdom and how science contradicts the Bible, which it doesn't, that's foolishness to say that. God was the creator of everything. And the Bible can be used to learn about science. That's the truth if you really look back at it. And I can stand by that, by the way, if you want to talk about it in more detail. But we preach Christ crucified. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Let me pray, guys. We're at 59 minutes. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for God's word and things like 1 Corinthians 1, 22 and 23, where we just emphasize that we shouldn't get caught up on things like signs or get caught up on worldly wisdom, but we should just be preaching Christ crucified, the truth of God. Lord, thank you so much for giving us verses like this. Thank you so much for the Word of God, as well as people like Mark Taylor telling us truth and QAnon telling us the truth. Lord, we just pray you give us great discernment of what is true and what is not true. Allow me to be corrected when I'm wrong. Allow everybody that's talking to my voice to let them know if you want them to be part of this army of God and how you will use them. Lord, give them the insight to that. And if it's part of this is going to be the cultural impact system and joining me and my team on this, or I shouldn't say my, I should say your I guess, Lord, whatever you've decided to do with the cultural impact system, Lord, I pray if they're part of that you allow them and let them know that you want them to be part of that. Lord, thank you. It's just such a privilege to serve you, a privilege to be on this broadcast, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there since we have passed the hour. Again, Chuck and Nancy, happy for World War III. It's totally sickening. Trump dupes the cabal, though. It's fun. This is a Blessed to Teach show on June 22nd, Saturday. I'm Rick, your host. I'll join you guys a little bit later if you want to join me live here in a while on the Cultural Impact System, which will be streaming live here in about a half hour. God bless you guys. Talk to you soon.